YouTube. I am Shaggy. I am Philalitheia, and I am excited. My creative writing partners have given me a writing prompt, and I have given myself permission to explore it in a way that I'm excited about. I have this female protagonist that I have been not really fantasizing about, but trying to figure out how to write a story about. So fantasizing about, I guess, since I was a little boy. My first literary love was Tara. Brad? Brad something? I don't know her last name. Brantley, maybe? They never actually say it in game. They don't have the character space to say their full names. But I've been trying to figure out how to tell a story about her, how to use her in another story, maybe even the same damn story. Um, since I was a little kid, and Rachel has helped me make the title of my novel make sense. Rachel understands that the first thing I do is I do a pass of my ideas orally to her and to the Discord when I'm alone, and then I run them through Gemini. So I do them a second time because Gemini has access to more information than what we all do, and what I do, than what she does, and what my Patreon guys do. And she gives me the yay or the nay, and then when she makes suggestions or asks questions, I can know which ways I'm going that are right. And so having the having the volcano form in our time is what we're going to do. We're going to start with her at birth. We've got the prologue where we've introduced that we're looking for her, and then we're going to start with her at birth. And we're going to follow that birth in jump cuts all the way to 9 years old. And then we're going to do an extended dialogue with a person from the ancient, ancient, deep, deep past, an incomprehensibly deep history. And then her world is going to end violently and tragically. And they're going to find her in the shadow of the volcano. And I think that's the right way to do it. The volcano is going to form instead of already being there in the jungle, having formed around it. Um, it's going to form there, and then we're going to have to figure out how to explore the fact that in two loops of history before, she died as a little girl in that fire. And that those echoes are going to have to affect her psychology in some way, because when time starts warping around like that, we can remember things. Impossible things, but we can remember things, and so it's going to start fucking with her. And she's going to start asking who's actually cinematics and beautiful imagery. Yeah. Well, yeah, it allows me to show these jungle people as jungle people, which is something that I was going to lose if we start at her at 9 years old and we only visit the jungle people in flashbacks. And so for anybody listening, I am way more inspired. You ask Rachel. You can just ask her right now. I am way more inspired and engaged in Eastern storytelling, especially the islands, Thailand, Korea, Japan, um, Vietnam, and China. I am so much more inspired by their storytelling than Western storytelling. I think that retro storytelling, or not retro storytelling, I think that Western storytelling is lazy and uninspired. Um, and not even because of the Christians, because the Christians have good stories. We just don't tell the good ones. We tell the dumb ones. We assume that the average Christian audience is mentally retarded. And an Asian storyteller thinks that you're at least as intelligent as they are, and they're intelligent enough to come to understand this story, so you must be. And so they tell so much more interesting stories, so much more involved stories. Even I'm at the point in Hellbound where I had to turn it off because I didn't I was just an entirely passive watcher because I no longer know what the hell is going on. I no longer know what the hell is going on, and I no longer know what is going to happen. But like I was telling her, being a passive viewer for me means that I completely trust the writers. I completely trust the direction that the show is going, and we need to get more Hellbound, if only so I can be blown away that there is somebody out there who's writing a story that I didn't think of. I didn't think of this. Every show that Rachel and I watch, I go, yeah, I thought about this once. I tried to write this as a story once. I have never tried to write Hellbound. Hellbound is too good. It's too good for me to have thought of it. Because everything that I want to write is pulp trash. Hey, OPM, what's up? And I recognize that everything I want to write is pulp trash. That's all I ever wanted to be, was a pulp trash producer. Because there's no money in it. I didn't want the money. I just wanted to tell pulpy, interesting stories that never end. I wanted to be paid my nickel a word or whatever. Sell my dime novels. That's all I wanted. I did not know that it wasn't the 1950s anymore. I've been talking on the channel for a while, Green Yonders, about how if your national pride is about tourist traps, you don't have a nation. What you have is a tourist industry. You don't have a culture. What you have is a hotel industry. You don't have a people. What you have is a prostitute population. You're either winning or selling your cultural icons to the losers. Thank you for saying that, Rachie. If your country is selling you for tourism, if they're selling your daughters to Hollywood and pornography, you aren't a nation. You are an exploited resource. Is the UK not in turmoil right now? Like something I keep talking about with Rachel is you could tell what artists want you to know about their hyena. You could tell what these storytellers and artists want you to know about their homelands based on what they're saying and to whom. Like Japan, always representing their women as sex icons. It speaks to their culture. It's what they want you to know about them. Immigration is a big problem in the UK right now. It's been a big problem for a few hundred years. They just kept it under wraps with violence. Well, sure, but the UK is only now adopting like that kind of like a protest language because they don't have a representative government. Their government doesn't care. Their government just took away the weapons from their police. Their government isn't responsible to, or isn't responsive to its people. They can protest all they want. All they're trying to do. The people who are protesting, every one of them is a third world immigrant, and they're protesting because they want the United States to intervene. If the U.S. middle class intervenes, then the UK will feel the pressure. Yeah, their police don't have firearms in the UK. Koreans do seem to be. It's so weird, Rach. Actually, Koreans seem to be on both extremes of this. Because Stellar Blade, the game that I completely reject because of her body and the obsession within the storyline on her body and her autonomy as regards sexual attention, is also a Korean game. So they do know what's up. They are having the conversation. I don't know their language, so I'm not paying attention, but you can see it. You could see that they deliberately didn't sexualize the underaged girl who's clearly in love with the cult leader, that he wasn't grooming her for sex. He was grooming her as a nuclear bomb. That's a much better story. So they know what's up. They're in the know. They're not an island nation that's insular. They were brought. That's what I kept pointing out to you with those buildings. They were brought into the modern world very rapidly. Korean anime has been better for decades. Like, anybody not making that argument is fucking lying to you and being nationalistic, and frankly, that's they call them Japanophiles. And in the 90s, you remember what Japanophiles were like. They were the dudes who were sitting too close to 13-year-olds. They were the dudes that make that same argument that I kept hearing over and over and over again in the furry community. And Devin kept saying, "Oh, they don't mean it the way you're saying." Where they're like, "Oh, she's the most mature 13-year-old I've ever met. She's more mature than some of the adult women I know." I know what that shit means. You can play dumb, but like Hellbound, like dude is pathologized. Actually, what actually steps him over the edge, they've made a point to show it to us 4 times now, because I don't think the audience quite gets this is who this guy really is. He wasn't lying at this point when he talks about the pathology about staying quiet about other people's crimes, playing dumb to keep the peace, is what finally drove him to hit the fucking kill switch. If it sells, it's probably pornography, Rachel. I think that's the line that I've drawn. You know that pornography doesn't have a standard literary or legal definition, right? They've left pornography undefined on purpose so that the boundary isn't clear, so that they could still fill drive-in theaters with titties, right? So they could still show what's her name? Got famous from Euphoria from showing them massive titties over long, riding some guy who's invisible. Because if the guy's visible, it's pornography. But if we linger on her enjoying sex, it's art. Sweeney Todd. Yeah. We love Sweeney Todd swinging titties. I don't know if they're as big as Sydney, Australia, Rachel. That's just rude. There's a rumor she's a dude, that she's got a dangalang down there. No, those are natural titties. She might have a dangalang, but them natural titties. She's not pretty. Her jaw is over small. She can't suck dick worth a damn. The only dudes who like women with jaws like that have tiny peckers. Why? I know the answer, but why are we encouraging the genetic preference for small dinglings? The only people who like small dinglings are dudes because they're easier to whoop 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 in their little poop holes. And prostitutes. Oh, the conversation always takes a turn. This is where my book is not going to go. It's just funny to chase away the people who like because they heard me say one nice thing. The FCC is under the chat. I didn't say any words I wasn't allowed to say on the radio. Shut up. I didn't say any profanities. I didn't say any grotesque sex acts. I made a whoop 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 noise. Have you ever considered making the effort to have a unique identity? Beer run? Dumb nuts? You don't know me. You don't even know how old I am. You don't know what I've done with my life. You don't know my circumstances. And I am not concerned with your approval. You're just some alcoholic. Who gives a shit what you think about anything? The only reason you participate in what you call society is so you can get your beer. Fuck off. Yeah, hold my nuts. Yeah. You don't know anything. You're just some dumb alcoholic with a beer gut. You couldn't run anywhere. You couldn't run to save your case from a fire. We're not friends, Jonathan. You overstep your boundaries, my friend. No, Rachie, I said that. I said we went down that weird turn because I said what sent the villain down his path was pathologizing, keeping quiet about other people's sins, other people's crimes, other people's wrongdoings. And so think about, okay, so the other day, this is something that's resonated. It had a ripple, and I knew it would in time. It came back into our lives. So a moment from my past came back into my life quickly, which means that I knew I had made a splash right there. 2 days in a row, for 2 days in a row, Rachel had brought me coffee, and somehow she had generated a foam on it, and I had grown to really like the artistry of the foam and the coffee thing. And my throat was hurting. She got up and I heard her boil water. I heard her fucking around in the kitchen because my throat was clearly hurting. And she puts a drink down and I expected it was tea. I don't know if there's a name for that. No. I don't know whether there's a name. And I was expecting her to put down a tea, and I was distracted because I was talking about something or doing something. And I look at it, and it just looked like a plain black coffee. And I was distracted, and I was thinking about something, and the tone of voice that came out of my mouth when I said, "What is that? Is that a coffee?" sounded like I was saying, "Are you a dumb bitch, you dumb bitch?" And I heard myself, and I said, "Well, that tone wasn't necessary." I was like, "The tone wasn't necessary. I'm sorry. Is that a coffee?" And she goes, "No, it's a tea." And I went, "Okay. Yeah, the tone wasn't necessary." Because I almost freaked out that it didn't have foam and was a coffee when my voice was clearly worn. And so, sin, my point here, as regards the villain pathologizing other people's sin, the word sin just means error. So, like, I know a lot of people who grew up adjacent to Catholics and their obsession with sin. And the reason they had to number 7 of them and they had to hierarchy their sins is because over the course of about 1,000 years or more, but over the course of about 1,000 years, people pathologized every conceivable wrongdoing. Every conceivable wrongdoing. And people were ending themselves over it. Or people were falling into a kind of atheistic nihilism because atheism, as we understand it, can't work. But it can't work at all. And it certainly can't work to project it back before the people who named it. But if you actually think about it, they saying that it means no theism. It's more like not that. It's the opposite. When you use a in Greek before a word, it means the opposite. So it means that they just started doing things to represent the opposite of their theology, of their God. They became legitimately devil worshippers. They just did the opposites. They just did their sins. If it was a sin and they knew it, they just did it. And if it was the righteous thing to do, they just didn't do it. In Eastern terminology, to the Buddhist, this is the difference in the left and the right hand paths. Rachie, just ignore them. Just ignore them and let the chat go because this is how this is the only way it works. Just let the dum-dums be dum-dums until they say racist shit. Nab the racists. Anyway, that's fine. This is where the witch craze comes from. But during all of that, there were also serious science-minded investigators who were looking into all of it. They were looking into the psychology of why people were doing evil things, the psychology of why people were pathologizing not doing things that might be sinful, and then in themselves they were internally critical of themselves, and they worked as a kind of um what's it called among the police in the United States? It's called internal affairs. They worked as a sort of internal affairs within the religion of Christianity, within the hierarchy. So they were also responsible for bringing people who were doing sins in the hierarchy to trial, to criminal trials. Because for a while, a very long while, like approaching 1,000 years in Europe, the Christian church was the only thing that represented government anywhere in the world. In Europe. Anywhere in Europe. The Christian church was the only thing that represented anything like a functioning government. The the kingdoms existed, but they did not function as governments without their Christian advisors because they didn't function as governments before Rome arrived in the way that we understand a functioning government working. They were dudes who sat in fancy houses and lived the good life so the gods would remain happy with the common people and continue to make the food that grew on the ground plentiful enough that they didn't starve to death. The things that we assume today about social contracts, these things came at the end of that period where the Christians, the church was fully in charge. Because of the period just before that where the monarchs decided that they were the enlightened ones and they were taken over. Because the church had so badly failed during the Black Death. Because it was indiscriminate. It just happened to anybody. It happened to a lot of people. And it happened to an increasingly large number of people at random from their perspective. It took somebody like, specifically, oh my God, I never think of his name. I never talk about this guy. Specifically, I only say this when people bring him up. Specifically, the prophecy guy that people think was predicting the Nazis or whatever. Nostradamus. Nostradamus is actually famous because, sure, he was a court philosopher for some French bitch, but he's actually famous because he cured the plague in Venice, because he told people to stop drinking from and bathing in the canals, in which they also tossed out their excrement. Drink clean water and you don't die. Yeah. And so people were willing to believe what he said about the future too, because he was observant. And so he was willing to believe that the things that he was doing had veracity because his observations had veracity. So why shouldn't his mathematics have veracity? And this is the same loop, the same trap that the physicists have got in. The math is irrelevant. I think I answered your question as you were asking it, Rachie. If you ate my butt, maybe I gave a shit about what you thought, J Masters. Maybe I want it like this. Maybe I like for ladies to see my titties. Maybe I genuinely just don't give a shit about your opinion. No, I don't believe that, Beer Run. God has revealed to me that you're a troll. Eat my butt. You're nobody to me. I don't believe in your God. God has told me that you are a troll. Troll says I'm not a troll. It's like what's his name? Edgar Allan Poe in A Telltale Heart. I wonder if I have that handy. I have a keyboard now. Fuck yeah. I have like a wireless keyboard now. Dudes, I'm in the fucking future. Mr. S asked me, he goes, "What's your fucking obsession with the Surface 6 or the Surface technology?" He goes, "What's your fucking obsession with that weak ass tablet technology?" And I had to look myself in the mirror for about 4 days. It took me about 4 days to really be honest with myself about this, in the way that these investigators into the paranormal and the Middle Ages were. I'm following in their model because they wrote about themselves extensively, because they come from a tradition from much, much, much before them. Holy shit, the Egyptians were doing it too. It's incredible. The I Ching was written with the method that I'm using. Anyway, what was I gonna look up? Oh yeah. Whoa. In the Telltale Heart. I'm telling you how you're a troll here. All right, here's the passage from A Telltale Heart. True. Nervous. Very, very dreadful nervous. I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in the heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. I know that you are a troll because you have all the reasons why you're not a troll, but none of the reasons why you might be. You've heard things, all the things in heaven and on earth, and many of the things in hell. But you've heard nothing that I want to hear about. I don't know that you've been sitting here listening to my thoughts. You broke in with some rude bullshit. I don't care that you've been sitting here. I can't see you. Did he really say that the world would end when we get a black pope? He might not have meant black skinned. In the English language, black just means evil. Yeah. Channel has a very simple rule and you keep breaking it over and over, beer. Iron doesn't in fact sharpen iron. And that comes from Deuteronomy, I think. And no, it doesn't in fact sharpen iron. If you rub two knives together, you will in fact dull both of their blades, maybe even permanently. Hey, Sam, great to see you. How are you? Again, beer. You know all the reasons that you're not an asshole. You can't conceive of any of the reasons why you might be. God didn't tell you how to find a missing child. Well, I was in a better mood earlier and then I met beer, Sam, but you know, things are going. You have no evidence that God told you anything. You kidnapped a child. I have good energy because I figured out how to write the first act of my book, Sam. Now I just got to get people to read the prologue and tell me if they like or what they want to see more of in that so I can know I can know how thick to make these drafts. I never know when to stop. I never know when people is going to think too much because I can spit out 15,000 words in a sitting. And so I gotta stop when I start to feel like okay, people are gonna think this is too long. Yeah, Rach has been letting me work double shifts and moonlight while we watch some really awesome TV. Some really awesome TV. Oh, Sam, you've got to sit and read my writing. I don't have fat. I don't have fat. Fat I've never had. I have posted my original drafts of my work and fat is what I don't have. I don't mean to be arrogant. I've just been writing since I was a little boy. I've been watching TV and movies the way I watch with Rachel, and she can testify that you guys need to sit and watch a movie with me. Um, but yeah, I've been watching like that since I was little because my mom would beat my ass if I didn't. No, I need to add fat, and I can't know what to flesh out, what to put meat on, and what to give moving parts to if nobody will read it and tell me what they read and what they were like. Oh, I kind of wish this was this. Yeah, I got to organically tell Rachel everything that I know about ghost investigations and where the question remains unanswered as far as I know. As far as what I know. I know there are people that have the answer, but I know that they're isolated in bubbles where they won't allowed to be into the mainstream. So their shit is expensive. And I can't keep asking her for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I got to finish Plotinus. I got to finish these fairy tales that I bought for her. She's asked me to read her the Bible. So I got a lot of work. I got a lot of work to do, and not all of it is monetizable. I don't ever want to monetize. This isn't monetized, frankly, but I need the money if I'm going to do any of it. Like, I can't even afford to wash my hair. So people are going to come around like, wash your hair, but they're not going to offer $1. They just assume that I've got it under control. They all assume that everybody on the internet is a middle class dickbag who's got himself in debt for something frankly dumb and dangerous. They can't comprehend a religious person. They can't comprehend what it means to actually be a dutiful person. That's because Phil K. Dick and Arthur C. Clarke are people that I grew up as a writer reading. So they're people that I'm evoking deliberately. Arthur C. Clarke famously said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And so all of my magic systems are indistinguishable technologies. They're technologies that could work. I've read more Phil K. Dick than you could comprehend. R.E. Howard, H.P. Lovecraft, The Journey West is a massive influence on my writing. There will be a pig demon. There is a volcano. I love my influences, and I love this work is about wearing them naked on my sleeves. All of my other work, I'm hiding it, but then I'm cluing you in. Um, Sam Spade, uh, Sir, what's his name? I can never remember his name. Conan, Conan Doyle, Arthur Conan Doyle. Um, I've read the Mort d'Arthur 3 times, so for sure, Chrétien de Troyes is an influence. The Mabinogion is a comfort book. I've read from the Mabinogion to Rach when I was in extreme emotional distress. So, Marie de France. um, I love the City of Ladies. So, Catherine de Pizan. It's good to talk to you, Sam. Utnapishtim? You remind me of Utnapishtim. I remind you of Utnapishtim. That's because Utnapishtim is one of the people I've aimed at being. The Epic of Gilgamesh is one of my great influences. I've rewritten it. I've rewritten it in proof of concept that I could write the whole thing and I could make it a Netflix. I could make it a Netflix 8-part series. Um, and I could make it a modern time hop drama that's a spin-off from a deeper, much more complex mythological investigation. But the Epic of Gilgamesh is offering you two ways of being. Three, really. But it's offering you two. And one of them is the way that Utnapishtim lives. But if you notice, he has all of the knowledge in the world, but he lives apart from the world with his wife. And he lets people come to him. And he tells them where the thing that's going to destroy them is. So be careful hanging out with me too close, Saul. Because the wife is already chosen. But Gilgamesh is perfected by not having immortality. What would immortality have achieved for a man who was already broken in spirit? I've been aiming at men like Sun Tzu and Utnapishtim and late stage. I forgot his name, so I'll bounce off that character. Um, the Bacons. I think Roger Bacon. Sure, but immortality might be my completion, Rach. And so that might be the difference in me and Gilgamesh. Because immortality is Utnapishtim's completion. Utnapishtim is a character. He's actually the driving narrative force behind the way that I told Gilgamesh. I've performed my version as incomplete as it is twice for the channel. You could find it. I've also done some of it for the on the Patreon. You can find it on the Patreon. It's $25 right now in perpetuity. If you invest in Rob now, you're investing in a future where I work on it. That's how that works. If enough people are reading it and commenting on it and demanding more and asking what happens, why is it left unfinished? Why did you do this to me? Like people ask of TV shows like that's all Netflix asks of us to get another season. That's how we got more of that shitty Stranger Things. It's because we asked for it. So if you want more of my shit, it's $25. But you gotta get a community of people. You gotta make your little fan things. You gotta ask me for it in a way that changes my life, because that will become my entire friggin' life. Love Netflix. Love Netflix. Ask Rach what we watch. Ask Rach where my eyeball time goes when I sit down to scroll and find something to stimulate myself. Ask her. She's right here. She's not here any much. Take care, Rachie. Love you. I always give her homework to give to her dad. Every Saturday, I give her a conversation to have with her dad. I am a weird and cagey nerd, and she does a really good job of shielding me from a lot of social scrutiny. But he is, to me, an heroic figure. He's the kind of person that I wanted to be, legitimately. I'm, and so I give her ways to connect to me through her father, because she's gonna ideally have me for longer, and so that relationship and building it as strong as possible, because she's a securely attached individual. She makes secure attachments, and she's been damaged by insecure attached people hurting her. And so I'm trying to teach her how to secure that attachment to her father so she will have him until she's gone. And so she can teach the world to remember him when she's gone. Because she's got siblings and they have kids, but that's the duty of any child. That's what it means. To honor thy father and mother. All it really means is to represent them in your life in a way that makes them look as good as possible. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that you have to only say good things about them. It just means to represent yourself. It's like, oh, your dad's a shithead. He's a drunk and he beat up my brother. It's like, yeah, he did, but I wouldn't. Yeah, but you remember that time that he called that football game and we all had a good time? That was cool. Given the right environment and the right opportunities, he could probably be a better guy. I know you are, Rachie. Now go, go, go. Yeah, because you trusted a psycho. Because our entire educational and social system is designed to teach you to find a psycho and capitulate to them so they don't hurt you. We took the wrong lessons. Frankly, hey, no one wants to hear this. Spoiler alert. This is going to be ugly. Scroll away. This is going to be unadvertiser friendly. We learned the wrong lessons from Columbine and the going postal. We learned the wrong lessons. The lesson was if we don't step out of line with the bad people, we won't be arbitrarily destroyed. That was the wrong lesson. Because that lesson allows people like Beer Run to dominate chats. I'm watching this show called Hellbound on Netflix. Watch it, please. I'm watching this show called Hellbound on Netflix about these two cults. There are these two cults that have the same prophet. Okay? So a three body problem. It's fucking incredible. Two prophets that have the same, that have this, they're two cults, same prophet. Within Korea that has a government that is broke up among its corporate interests, its police interests, and its social interests, which mean its economic interests. Another three-body problem. All of these are impossible to calculate their interests at the same time as they interact with one another. So it makes an infinitely interesting watch to me, because all of these people are impossible to calculate. So if it seems like from episode to episode the writers have their heads on right and know their trajectories as they happen in time as threads, as four-dimensional threads, I'm here to watch them make a tapestry. That's all I'm here for. I'm just here to watch a tapestry be born. I'm here to watch this happen in the dialogue as the characters interact with one another. I did not particularly enjoy Dune. I hated the novel. I'm here to watch this happen. Just wait for it to loop back. This is what the story looks like to me right now. If you were to just sit down in season 4, episode 4, this is what you get. Is just this murky, incredible soup. But just give it a second. I'm here to watch the plot threads do this. So you got this one character over here. You got this other character over here, and how do we get them together? Well, they may not in this image, but that's what I'm here to watch. I'm here to watch the plot potential do this. And you start from the beginning to watch it happen over again. And then these Korean dramas that Rach and I are watching, these Asian dramas, they're designed to be watched from any random episode. They're written to be watched from any particular episode, which is incredible. That's an incredible watch. And so I'm just watching this over and over and over again. That's a woman's entire YouTube channel, so you can go and make the chat what I'm talking about there if you want to. Take the Shaggy method with you. And then if it works, come back and buy my work. Buy one piece to say thank you. And then you can comment on that one piece at a time if you want. Many of them are very cheap. I try to charge no more than $1,000. $1 per 1,000 words of prose. And then my recorded stuff is arbitrarily priced, I'll be honest with you. And you can devalue Psalm and Rachel's contributions to the channel specifically by subscribing for, I think, $3 is my lowest tier, gives you access to everything that $100 gives them access to. On the Patreon, except for one link to the Discord. The Discord, I think, starts at $25. It might be $50. I think it's $25. Yeah, the Discord is exclusively for the producers, and it's where I'm putting my ideas and my prototypes as I'm working through stuff. And I know I need human feedback. Because Gemini can give me real-time meta-analysis of my ideas faster than you guys can. It would have been months. Like Rach said, it would have taken me months to figure out where you are from where you began. And without the ability to have good dialectic, it would have taken me months too. I don't know Discord either. My Discord is stripped down to just the main chat and the voice chat. That's all it is. It's just a forum. It's just Twitter. It's just the interface is stupid and inconvenient because they have to show that they're hackers by making a user unfriendly interface. That's how programmers tell you that they're programmers. Is by saying, well, it's convenient for me. If you just knew how to use a computer, you'd know how it works. Yeah, well, suck my dick. If you were good at things, you'd know how to do that too. Well, I'm just saying it's any user interface. It's YouTube. It's any social media. It's anything that you interact with. It's just all in different places. The things that you want are there. They're just in different places in menus. Sorry, I didn't mean to erupt like that. I'm trying not to do those things anymore. I'm supposed to be embarrassed about it. I'm a master at multitasking. Yeah, my mom used to beat my ass. So I'm a different kind of kid. I realized early, 5, 6 years old, when my mom is telling me that everything I do has to be developing my education. I have to get the family out of poverty. I learned young that you can fake multitasking pretty easy because you can just tell people you're doing something you're not actually doing. Oh, I'm working on it, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, you're working on it. You're not doing the thing now, but you're doing it. This is working toward it in some way." It's very easy. And I decided at very young that I would never lie. because you can't reach the Holy Grail if you lie. And so I didn't know for a very long time that that's just a story. And so I just don't lie. I just learn not to lie. And so if I'm going to say that I'm doing two things, I'm just going to do both things. You see? Or I'm going to say I'm not doing that thing yet. The human brain actually can't do two things at once well. And so what I try to do is master one thing so I can do it without thinking about it and then think about another thing while I'm doing it. That was the skill that I learned how to manipulate. But let me learn how to do this tedious and boring thing until mastery so that I don't have to focus on it. And I'll be honest with you, the reason I hate video editing and low key I kind of just hate YouTube the way they want me to do it is I can't do anything else. If I'm not here reacting to the chat, I can't actually get anything else done, and that's what they want. That's what it's about, and I just hate that economy. I hate it so much. But that's what makes when I sit down to write, that's what makes it compelling, I think, is that I'm working on and practicing and experimenting and trying new things in a system prose that I've mastered. I can generate prose, baby. What I haven't figured out how to do is connect two plot points in a sufficiently short amount of time that people will read a third one. So I'm starting this one on an explosion. Yeah, that too. I realized that in relationships when I started dating a girl. I can't try to lie to this girl. I won't remember what I said an hour ago. Yeah. It is the last shred of I wouldn't say honor, I would say dignity. Because the relationships that I was in, the family that I grew up in, they lacked personal dignity for me. That is what it is. This is what I wanted to see. Whatever. You don't have anything to be sorry for. Yeah, I was aware of it. I was in survival mode until I met Mr. S. So May of 2025. I was born in July 1987 and I was in survival mode, just get to the next day, survive this dignity lacking existence until I met him. So I was aware of it. I'm aware of myself. All these things that I talk about, like characters who have these things in literature, like modeling myself after them, or because I recognized myself in them already. I was already that aware. I could see the mirror reflecting back at me, and then I could see the mirror behind me reflecting back at me. I could see myself contextualized in history. I just didn't know when I was in history. I didn't realize that I wasn't in the 1880s, for example, for a very long time in my life. And then I didn't realize it wasn't the 1950s and it's not the 1960s. It's not the 1970s. It's most sure as fuck not the 1980s. And it took me a really long time. And so once I figured out when and where I am in history, I became very aggressively um I don't know, whatever word you want for, I rejected. I aggressively rejected um, pop culture. Well, the why is because it felt good in the moment. That's the only why. It's not that there's no reason, it's that there's no grand architecture. That's what Hellbound is about. That the god that they have identified as the god of reality is not doing the things he's doing, or it's doing for a reason, for an architecture that we can comprehend. But that is the pathology that comes with Christianity, with any of the monotheisms, because the monotheisms reject the idea that there are other entities that might have an underlying architecture, an underlying reason to their idea, because it, or to what they're doing, to their behavior, because they reject the idea of something else living outside of our conception of time. Well, it's incomprehensible to you because you've never harmed anything. It's like I always say, you got to give evil a chance, right? So when you hurt something and you feel that high, how do you react to it? And I got to go to the bathroom. Give me just a second. That's what psychopathy is. That's all it is. It's not just the temperament to cause harm, it's actually enjoying doing it. And that's why Wall Street is the way it is. Watch Wolf of Wall Street. They haven't changed. They made a movie about how awesome they are and how things should go back to that. Hello, Eric. Science isn't trying to ask why. The question why is a different study altogether. Why the universe exists isn't the, it's just not the purview. It's just not a question they're asking. It's not that it can't. It's that it's not designed to. It's not intended for that question. Maybe some. Why is for philosophers. Why is for the religious. Why can't be a scientific question. Ontology is even difficult for science. Well, the universe has answers for you. You're just not asking the right questions. For example, why they did it is because they wanted to. It's not just that they did it. Like the why they did it isn't just because. You got to be in dialectic with the universe in order for it to answer, which means you got to ask it questions it can answer. The universe is answering our questions. This is how we know what quarks and gluons and supernovae are. It's answering our questions. It's given us snapshots into the deep and ancient and incomprehensible past. Göbekli Tepe exists because humans wanted to leave an answer. They wanted to leave discoverable answers. We just have to ask the right questions. You can't break a machine that was here before you and will be here long after you. Think about it. Humanity extincts itself in 10,000 years. A million years from now, an extraterrestrial species comes to the planet, starts digging us up. The answers are still there. The questions still remain. Let's say that I already have all the answers. Let's say I'm Jesus. Let's say I'm Jesus reborn. What machine is broken by my existence? Like I walked Rachel this morning through how the cosmos all works at every scale. And then I sent her off to her dad, who does the mathematics to prove me wrong, really. Because it's all incomprehensible. And so it just takes time to comprehend. Because your mind is a quantum space. It's a non-Newtonian space, right? Non-Euclidean space for sure. Well, what if why? Think about this, son. Have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about maybe that the entire universe, everything that happened before the moment of your birth happened to justify your birth in that moment? And everything that has happened since then has happened to justify what your choice is, your dilemma in those moments. And all of those have led you to conversation with me on the internet in front of an audience of two other people. What about that? What about that is why? What if that's why? What if Earth's gravity were 8.8 meters per second squared, and that led to you finding yourself in completely different employment, seeking different answers to different questions? That's what I believe. That's the answer that I was given. Why I'm here is to do and be something, to have done something in the future. Does it give you any questions? What questions? Like what? Well, we do each create our own personal hell. Hell is just the consequences of our choices and the suffering that we have as a result. That's all suffering is. It's just our consequences compounded. Or fight it, overcome it, build with it. Humans didn't avoid the Auroch. We don't often avoid escape or be consumed by alligators. If those were our only choices, if those were the only choices biologically available to us, we don't have this cell phone to talk. I did the same thing with Rach when we are watching the three body problem. And she goes, "Oh, they're 400 years away and they're so technologically advanced. We just give up." And I'm like, "Or we fight back." They're freaked out because we have developed weapons technologies that they never thought of. So we fight back. Send them somewhere the fuck else. Let them avoid, evade, or be consumed. Fuck. We didn't develop spears and arrows and armor so that animals could just kill us, so that we could just be destroyed by the environment. Like, think about it. Your body right now, if you're standing upright, has evolved to resist something approaching 18 or maybe 21 pounds of pressure squared around you. Just to stand upright, your body already has to work against gravity and the air pressure. The pressure of the molecules and the air all being sucked or falling into the center of the earth, where you are being sucked and or falling. You have to resist that. Even sitting upright like this for me right now requires muscular energy. It requires effort to do even this. There's no escape, avoiding, or being consumed by gravity. Sure. When you're in a situation where something has a technological weapons advantage over you, you get away from them because what they're doing is trying to get casualties. You only have to destroy one of them. Don't let them destroy all of you in the process. Why do you hate the northern lights? And the sun isn't screaming. Iron grinding against iron isn't screaming. And a magnetosphere is just what happens when you have as many charged ions as the center of our planet has. Well, it's not the sound the sun makes. It's what happens when you translate the radio waves being emitted from it into sound. There's nothing in the vacuum of space to carry the sound to us. There's no sound. The sun isn't screaming. The sun isn't alive. The sun is no more screaming than your car is when its gears grind, when your brake doesn't have the pad. Well, why does this phone is leaking lethal radiation from you right now? The sun isn't in pain. The sun is under an incomprehensible amount of tension. The sun is one atom, turning itself slowly into another atom. Life isn't that fragile. There have been 5 near extinction events on this planet. Life, the building blocks of life, the basic proteins of life, probably pre exist the cosmos itself. Life was probably seeded on this planet from another planet exploding. Fragile is what planets and suns are. It's all about your scope, it's about your time. If anything, without the northern lights, life can't exist on this planet. Mm-hmm. Radio waves are just frequencies of a specific kind of energy. Planets emit radio waves, so do suns, so do asteroids, so do you. You're emitting brain waves right now, those are radio waves. If we knew how to pick up the signal, it's so weak. If we knew how to pick it up, we could broadcast our thoughts and our feelings as sound. That's called singing and speaking. It's called music broadly. It's like I was listening to a guy who was talking about he had a professor in college who said that basically when birds speak, they're either saying mine, or mate, mate, mate. And I think that's probably broadly true, but when I was living in the tent, I was listening to the birds. It seemed like they were also saying, hey, come over here, or hey, stay in the bushes. Because their danger noise was no noise. Well, our brain waves aren't susceptible to not a paradox universe, but a multiverse. Our thoughts happen first outside of the three-dimensional universe as we understand it. And no, our bones actually react as the opposite of antennas. Our the bones in the brain actually they actually contain the waves. That's why they're so weak outside the skull. That's why people used to trepan people to let their thoughts out. The thoughts are being manifest as energetic impulses in the brain, but the thoughts are happening elsewhere. The thoughts aren't happening in the brain. And so if there's a multiverse, then those thoughts are all happening in a shared space as the multiverse spirals out of any one choice or any one thought you have. So it's entirely possible that you can be having and receiving thoughts from other timelines of yourself, other ways that reality has played out. No, they know exactly why they migrate. They've known this for decades. There are little bits of iron in their brain, and that iron allows them to know where true north is, and they migrate to stay away from the cold weather. Geese have lived on the North American continent since it was an ice sheet, so they know when the receding cold is coming. They know where food is going to be available. They know where they can raise their young so they're strong enough to survive where they're from. If they don't do it, they die. Is that a choice? It doesn't have to be a conscious thought. It's a behavior that they all do, that they know to do because they've been doing it so long that they all do it. Any bird in isolation may or may not want to or try to fly south, but a pack of birds is going to have been doing it for tens of thousands of years. Yeah, that's how evolution works. If you don't reproduce, if you don't have successful offspring, you don't have a species. The only thing that matters is viable offspring. This is how we have such wide variety in socioeconomic hierarchy, because the people on the bottom are encouraged to breed children into the bottom, who breed children into the bottom. This is how Fancy is encouraged to prostitute herself to a married man, or not a married man, a rich man in marriage. It's your last chance, Fancy. Don't let me down. So forgive me for what I do. But if you want out, then it's up to you. Well, don't let me down. Or no. Your mama's going to move you uptown. Don't let me down now, Fancy. Your mama's going to move you uptown, I think is the last words. I'm of the opinion that the DNA is aware. And no, I wouldn't say that the subconscious and the DNA are the same thing. I would say that the subconscious and the body are different structures. The brain and the body are different structures. The gut biome, the gut brain biome, and the body around it are different structures. So if the hands seem to remember what it's like to manipulate stone, that's because our ancestors have been doing it so long that the DNA, the hands, know what to do. Well, it's not really a don't do that. Think about Socrates. They killed Socrates because he had a demon that told him what not to do. So that's not a survival mechanism. That's a intellectual and philosophical outlier. Not how to do it, because you can pick up a guitar and know that human hands have manipulated this, but have no idea how. That doesn't mean you know how to arrive at a Chopin or why Chopin made the choices he did. Now you can pick up this bottle. You can pick up this bottle, and you can figure out. You can figure out that that pops up, and this is. But you don't know why. Why you that the picking up this one bottle in isolation doesn't answer the question of why and how we arrived at this particular design. Why a nipple? If you don't know any other human beings, you don't know that a nipple is the first thing you interact with as a human being. You don't have hands to interact with. You have a mouth to interact with. And you're only going to engage with the mouth or into the world via your mouth for the first 6 to 18 months that you're alive. Manipulating the world with your hands takes a long time for humans to develop. So by the time you figured out all the skills necessary to use these things with any amount of competence, you can figure out how to use anything that any other human has done with these things with competence. But the why, the evolution and design isn't obvious from any one object. I've never heard of that. Um, Screwhead, if you want to talk about it, I'm here to listen. But Yngwie Malmsteen has specific frets designed for the way he interacts with the fretboard. So, like, you could pick up Eddie Van Halen's guitar and you'd never, no matter how good you are, never play like Eddie Van Halen did. But if you learn about other guitars and the history of guitar and why Eddie played the way he did and why Yngwie played the way he did and why Chopin wrote in the way he did and why the Stygian is Stygian and the Phrygian is Phrygian and why the Indians count their music in the particular way they did and you cast that back and these have answers. They all have answers. Why the frets are where they are has answers. It's because we used to tie the frets with gut strings, and you only need so many notes to tell a story. But if you're trying to impress your audience with complexity, you need microtones because you can arrive at microtones in your voice, right? When you're going, hey, there are tones in the middle there that you can stop on if you knew what you're doing. It's about what you want, Sam. Django Reinhardt only had two working fingers on his left hand, and he figured out a way to play. It's about what you want and what you're willing to put your time into. Because we all have a currency that's devaluing every day, and that's the time that we have remaining. We all know it. Our lives are getting cheaper by the second we have them. We all know it. We talk about being in our primes, but we all know that our prime ends sometime around 35. I kind of want to listen to that song now. So forgive me for what I do, but if you want out, then it's up to you. Well, don't let me down, because your mama's gonna move you uptown. That's what she says. All music is a good way to produce natural dopamine. I produce natural dopamine. I produce natural dopamine by listening to the blues or blues inspired music. I don't know how long that's been playing. So that's a no. Well, I remember it all very well looking back. It was the summer I turned 18. We lived in a one-room rundown shack on the outskirts of New Orleans. We didn't have money for food or rent, to say the least. We were hard pressed. Then Mama spent every last penny we had to buy me a dancing dress. My mama, she made combed and curled my hair, and she painted my eyes and lips. Then I stepped into a satin dancing dress that had a split right side right up to my hip. It was red velvet trim and it fit me good. Standing back from the looking glass, there stood a woman where a half-grown kid had stood. And she said, "Here's your one chance, Fancy, don't let me down." Said, "Here's your one chance, Fancy, don't let me down." The harmonica is such a wet instrument. That was what I hated about my trumpet. Mama dabbed a little bit of perfume on my neck, and then she kissed my cheek, and then I saw the tears welling up in her troubled eyes as she started to speak. She looked at her pitiful shack, and then she looked at me and took a ragged breath. She said, "Your pa's run off, and I'm real sick, and the baby's gonna starve to death." She handed me a heart-shaped locket that said, "To thine own self be true." And I shivered as I watched a roach crawl across the toe of my high-heeled shoe. It sounded like somebody else who was talking, asking, "Mama, what do I do?" She said, "Just be nice to the gentleman, Fancy, and they'll be nice to you." She said, "Here's your one chance, Fancy, don't let me down. Here's your one chance, Fancy, don't let me down. Forgive me for what I do, but if you want out, well, it's up to you. Now don't let me down, 'cause your mama's gonna move you uptown." That was the last time I saw my mama, the night I left that rickety shack. The welfare people came and took the baby. Mama died and I ain't been back. But the wheels of fate had started to turn, and for me there was no way out. It wasn't long till I knew exactly what my mama been talking about. I knew what I had to do. I made myself this solemn vow that I was gonna be a lady someday, though I don't know when or how. But I couldn't see spending the rest of my life with my head hung down in shame. You know, I might have been born just plain white trash, but Fancy was my name. And she said, "Here's your one chance, Fancy." This song is called Fancy by Reba McEntire. She said, "Here's your one chance, Fancy, don't let me down." I watch these movies, these foreign films, Asian especially, and Rachel can't understand why the women react the way they do. And I'm like, because it wasn't long before these men owned the world. And mothers did watch their babies starve to death and sell their daughters into prostitution. That was all they had. That was the only choice they had for their offspring. And so, like, Hellbound has me hook, line, and sinker with that woman. So in this world, there's a lot of self-righteous hypocrites that call me bad and criticize Mama for turning me out, no matter how little we had. But though I ain't had to worry about nothing for nigh on 15 years, well, I can still hear the desperation in my poor mama's voice ringing in my ears. And so we in the United States have gone over the last 3 or 4 decades on this crusade against these women. We call them trophy wives, on this crusade against them. That like they've done something wrong for taking the path of least resistance for their future offspring, and for being obsessed that their children get into the good universities, because they came from absolutely nothing. We went on this crusade in the feminist culture against women like, I wish I could remember her name, the blonde who was she was a Playboy bunny, and then she went on and she tried to be the governor of Florida, but she had the worst heroin problem. I think she was a Marie something, like Jane Marie, maybe something like that. Anyway, I don't know. We've been on this crusade against them in our art, in our movies, in our stories, in our novels, and yet it is still the only viable way to make sure that your children have the least resistant path. Oh, the night the lights went out on Georgia. Reba, you're a fucking genius. I'm glad that you exist in the culture, even if it has to be on The Voice. He was on his way home from Candletop. Been 2 weeks gone and he thought he'd stop at Webb's and have him a drink before he went into her. And whoa, those cities though. He said hi and whoa. Sit down like it's some bad news that's gonna hurt. So his buddy said, hey, what's up? And Woe said, sit down, I got news that's gonna hurt. He said, I'm your best friend, you know that's right, but your young bride ain't home tonight. Since you've been gone, she's been seeing that Amos boy, Seth. Now he got mad and he saw red. And he said, boy, don't lose your head, 'cause you tell you the truth. I've been with her myself. That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia. That's the night that they hung an innocent man. Well, don't trust your soul to no backward southern lawyer, 'cause the judge in the town's got bloodstains on his hands. Well, Andy got scared and left the bar, walking on home 'cause he didn't live far. You see, Andy didn't have many friends and he just lost his one. Brother thought his wife must have left town, so he went home and finally found the only thing Daddy had left him, and that was a gun. He went off to Andy's house, slipping through the backwoods quiet as a mouse. Came upon some tracks too small for Andy to make. He looked through the screen at the back porch door, and he saw Andy lying on the floor in the puddle of blood. And he started to shake. The Georgia Patrol was making their rounds, so he fired a shot just to flag them down. A big belly sheriff grabbed his gun and said, why'd you do it? The judge said guilty on a make-believe trial, slapped the sheriff on the back with a smile and said, supper's waiting at home and I gotta get to it. That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia. That's the night that they shung an innocent man. Well, don't trust your soul to no backwoods southern lawyer, 'cause the judge in the town's got bloodstains on his hand. That judge that made me homeless was fucking my girlfriend. Well, they hung my brother before I could say the tracks he saw while on his way to Andy's house and back that night were mine. And his cheating wife had never left town. That's one body that'll never be found. You see, as little as her did miss when she aims her gun. That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia. That's the night that they hung an innocent man. Well, don't trust your soul to no backwoods southern lawyer, 'cause the judge in the town's got bloodstains on his hands. So we don't get to know why Andy and Bro's wife died, but they weren't hooking up. Yeah, some. She got killed by somebody's little sister. Or she shot Andy. Bobby played his guitar on the harder side of town, where it's hard for a poor boy to find the morning. He had dedication, he had the heart and soul. Somehow knew he was born to play. And he said, say, get a real job, support your family. There's no money in the road you're taking. Said a word, he's there to just lived on. I'm gonna be somebody One of these days I'm gonna break these chains. I'm gonna be somebody someday. You can bet your hard-earned dollar I will. I go through the struggle, 10 years to the top. And now he's number one on the stage and the radio. Still can't believe how people come from miles around when it seemed like only yesterday. I'm gonna be somebody. One of these days I'm gonna break these chains. I'm gonna be somebody someday. You can bet your hard-earned dollar I will. Say it is gone town, one full moon August night. Heard the voice on the front row saying, sandy-haired river boy with the same old hungry eyes looked up at Bobby and said, I'm gonna be somebody. One of these days I'm gonna break these chains. I'm gonna be somebody someday. You can bet your hard-earned dollar I will. You know I will, yeah. I'm gonna be somebody. One of these days I'm gonna break these chains. I'm gonna be somebody someday. You can bet your hard-earned dollar I will. You know I will, yeah. You can bet your hard-earned dollar I will. I'm gonna play with my drum pad. No, wrong button. Baby, all I got is this beat up leather bag. And everything I own don't fill up half. All I worry about the thing I pack. All I care about is getting back real soon. Goodbye kiss is all I need from you. I'm carrying your love with me. Virginia down to Tennessee. That was Billering with the good Lord speed. Carrying your love with me. The strength to holding on. There's a minute that I have to be gone. Everything I'll ever need. I'm carrying your love with me. Stuck out in the rain. Hard for you. You're right there in everything I do. I'm carrying your love with me. West Virginia down to Tennessee. I'm moving with the Lord's speed. Carrying your love with me. My strength for holding on. Every minute that I have to be gone. I'll ever need. I'm carrying your love with me. Down to Tennessee. That's hard. Lord speed, carrying your love with me. I haven't figured out fills yet. Still figuring this thing out. Still getting my hands used to it. Still finding what all the keys do. That's a crash. That's that. That's a... Oh, that's actually open. This is closed hat. Okay. That's how they arrive at that open hat sound that I don't know how to manipulate yet without sounding busy. 3:30 in the morning. Not a soul in sight. The city's looking like a ghost town on a moonless summer night. Raindrops on the windshield, there's a storm moving in. He's headed back for somewhere that he never should have been. And the thunder rolls. And the thunder rolls. If that is land and the house across town. By the telephone in her faded flannel gown. Looking for a miracle, hoping she's not right. That's the weather that's kept him out all night. Then the thunder rolls. And the thunder rolls. Thunder rolls. And the lightning strikes, and the love grows cold. On the sleepless night, and the storm goes on out of control. There's been a heart. It depends on bass is just in the bass section. It depends on how you play it. Bass is a string instrument, usually. It depends on what bass you mean. Bass guitar. You can play it percussively, but it's a string instrument. Stop to hold him. Because all the wind and rain, a strange new perfume grows. The lightning flashes in her eyes. He knows that she knows. And the thunder rolls. And the thunder rolls. Thunder rolls. And the lightning strikes. And the love grows cold. On the sleepless night. On the storm grows on out of control. I've been her heart. This is a country and there are barely any drums at all. I don't know that song. Almost all these songs were written on an acoustic guitar. You say you were wrong. to ever leave me alone. And now you're sorry, you're lonesome and scared. And you say you'd be just come back home. Well, here's a quarter. Call someone who cares. Call someone who listen and might give a damn to every one of your sordid affairs. Don't you come around here handing me none of your mind. Well, here's a quarter. Call someone who cares. He's doing texture stuff that I just haven't figured out how to do yet. He's doing like a chime thing. Yeah, the thought that we had would never turn bad. So you're leaving. It caught me unaware. Your fact is you're wrong. Oh, you can't be undone. Well, here's a quarter. Call someone who cares. Call someone who listens, yeah, and might give a damn to every one of your sordid affairs. Come around here and hand me none of your mind. So here's a counter. Call someone who cares. Here's a quarter. Call someone who cares. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Heard that song. Nope. I actually don't know if I know this one. Well, it's been a long time. Glad to see your face. I knew we'd meet together another time, another place. Can't believe it's been so many years. You better grab a chair and a couple of beers. Looking good in your three-piece suit. You knew I'd always knew you'd take the business route. Always the one to follow the light, and you look like you're doing all right. Singing in the rent and singing for my supper. I'm above the below and below the upper. I'm stuck in the middle where money gets tight. I guess I'm doing all right. I'm all right. It's a beautiful day, not a cloud in sight, so I guess I'm doing all right. I'm all right. A beautiful girl there with me tonight, and I guess I'm doing all right. Well, we had a lot of dreams when we were younger. They thought we were crazy, but we had the hunger. We kept a lot of friends, skipped a lot of class, been out of the world, and knocked on our. We lost touch and we lost in love. We lost our minds when things got tough. But beating time is a losing fight, and I guess I'm doing all right. Oh, I'm all right. It's a beautiful day and not a cloud in sight, so I guess I'm doing all right. Well, I'm all right. I got a good old friend here with me tonight, and I guess I'm doing all right. Well, I guess I'm doing all right. Mm. Take the sea this evening, and God only knows when I'll see you again. Just send a fax or send me a letter or give me a call. Maybe they'll even be better. Give the kids a kiss for me and say hello to the family and tell them all my future's looking bright. Well, I guess but I'm doing all right. I said I miss them, but I'm doing all right. Oh, I'm all right. Got a beautiful day and not a cloud in sight. I guess I'm doing alright. Oh, 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 I'm alright. Good old friend here with me tonight, and I guess I'm doing alright. Guess I'm doing alright. Well, I guess I'm doing alright. What's the name of that city in Sweden? Bow. Oh, she says. Come by, you have come far, long lie out, I lost in the flood. Come sit with me at the bar, tell me of progress, strengthen my blood. No one here knows my name, no, I have traded my memories for things, but I remember you clearly. Do you remember how I used to sing? Do 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 do. You waited so long. Do 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 do. Have you waited so long? Come by. You have come far, long since I saw you. So how have you been? Come sit with me at the bar. Long since they told you that they had found them. No one here knows my name. No, I've upped my worries for one good thing. Though what I remember you clearly. Do you remember that I used to sing? Do 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 do. You waited so long. Do 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 do. You waited so long. Do 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 do. You waited so long. Do 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 do. Why have you waited so long? Was it because I never told you I was going away? That you waited so long? Was it because our darkened dreams meant nothing to me? That you waited so long? It runs the top of my fingers to my hands. What is it I have been drinking? I do not understand. I thought I lost you, my brother. Worse to the ones that I love, I miss them. Don't tell them I love them, I miss them. That's hard. Even knowing the lyrics, that's hard. Just do like for the first time with any degree of competency. It's difficult. Feel the future surf through your days. That's hard. Those are different. Those are different meters on the different hands. That for me they are. I'm counting it that way. Maybe I'm wrong. Doing like a. I can't That's hard too. Almost got that one. Author of Scars. There it is. That's what he's doing. I'm not going to be able to just play that. It's a solo. It's chinking. It's trembling now. It's breaking and overtaken. That's what that is. And then you shift into a looking glass, a sky void of stars, creator of flaws. I know you will be the last to laugh. You shift into a looking glass. That's tough. That's hard. For me, maybe not for you. Free from it all, right in the darkest fog. Out through life through brother's eyes. Your embers low, wanting a different stone. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Brum, dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum. Ra-da-da-da. I'm not going to be able to keep up with that at the end there. But I know I'm not going to be able to keep up with Bart Goldstad. That's funny. Hmm. That's hard. Oh, and then he goes with the. This is I have seen it come, seen the ghost of the sun. I can't have it, I'm done. Truth is, I have seen it come, seen the ghost of the sun, and of it, I'm done. In time, we all call out for relief to lovers me pass you on the street. I trusted you. That's gonna take me some time to get my thumb and my fingers to play different things. That's gonna take some learning. Mm. 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 Telling my own grave to keep me level. Till another dragging down the hole. Dig into the rhythm and the echo of a solitary every cellar corner pushes me along. It makes me so desperate. Ravenous. So weak again, powerless over. Monkey, while I dig in search of China, why does Dracula's eye approach the bottom? Weak again, our last over you. That's hard. Doom, 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 bow. Bow, do, 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 doom, do, 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 doom, da, 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 do, do, do. Peace of mind, whatever, such as long as I don't feel so desperate. Ravenous. That's fucking hard. That's hard. Over you. Oh, I almost did that right. Actually, I hit the right thing. I just give me some enraging. We are the drugs of life. Do we not panic? Leave no trace. Care. Do you ever dream about a difference? Do you ever dream about making a difference? I have waited all my life for someone to get me out of here. I never knew the view from the edge of the world would look like this. Our thoughts speed and senseless, reflecting compassionate stares, blind to the world in front of us, deaf to your own will, surrounded by deceivers. Come read the house with me. Cards just to feed the anger. the anger that used to be love. I have waited all my life, someone to get me out of here. I never knew the view from the edge of the world would look like this. I never waited all my life, someone to get me out of here. I never knew the view from the edge of the world would look like this. Into the black light, into the black light, from in shadows, into the black light, into the black light, from in shadows, into the black light, into the black lights, from in shadows, into the black light, into the black lights. Hello, Hannah. I don't know if we be jamming, Rachie. I'm doing my best just to try to get my left hand to cooperate and play what I'm hearing and what I know it could do, because other people can do it. They say freak. Now red, if it filters through. So lie down, the threat is real. Light goes red again. Seeing red again. Seeing red again. Cannot contain. An ass made it show. So lay down, the threat is real. Side goes right again. So lie down, the threat is real. That's hard. So lay down, the threat is real. From his side goes right again. Saying right again, 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 saying right. When you're singled out, say Jackie, the right, well it filters through. Hear my thin voice. Hear my words fall down. See my ambitions fade out. Had so much better times. I'd not walking on the tracks change my perspective. Idle hands with wounds and cracks. Upon my heart, indecision, sow the seed. Aspiration is never within reach. That's hard. Oh my God, Jackie, thank you so much. You did not have to do that. Thunder, London trees. Thank you for keeping my business going so I can still be here whenever you need me. Thank you, Jackie. Thin voice. Hear my words fall down. See my ambitions fade out. I had so much better times. coming. I'm not allowed to understand. Love you very much, Jackie. Get as you're not coming back. Da-dum. There's no other view than to never made it. See my ambitions faded out. Not so much. That's hard. I find that very difficult. Getting my hands to do an entirely different thing than what my mouth is doing, I find that extremely difficult. Memories are just where we leave them. Drag the waters to the desperate of the dead. What did you expect to find? Was there something you left behind? Don't you remember anything I said when I said, don't fall away and leave me to myself? Just fall away and leave life bleeding in my hands again. And leave life bleeding in my hands, life lies bleeding. Am I the only place that you've left to go? She cries, her life is like some movie in black and white. Dead actors think their lines over and over again. She cries, don't fall away. Leave me to myself, don't fall away. Leaving life bleeding in my hands again. Leave life bleeding in my hands. Like life lies bleeding. And I wanted, but you turned away. Well, I don't remember, but I do. You never even tried. Mm, 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 mm. Boom, 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 boom. Love conquers all, Jackie. Don't fall away and leave me to myself. Don't fall away and leave life bleeding in my hands again. Leave life bleeding in my hands again. Leave life bleeding in my hands again. Whoa. If you like this show, you can help your brother buy cigarettes because he has expensive taste. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Mr. S. Thank you, Zom. I know that those three of you who are here have already provided for the channel. This is for the future audience when I say these things. Boom, 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 boom. I might play a video game. I might be bored enough to actually play a video game for the hell of it. I don't know what I want to play though, because I don't want to play anything. Because I kind of need to pee more than I need to play a video game. Give me a second. I'll be right back. I need to finish this book. I need to finish reading this book about Egypt. And the only way I'm going to finish reading this book about Egypt is to finish reading this book about Egypt. Right? That's what I'm saying. So maybe I need to just put on a for funsies game that's not going to ask much from me as far as reading and paying attention what's going on, which is what? That's not my password. I'll be right back. All right. I just have had about 20 minutes of practice with my machine. Drum pad, finger drum pad, which I love very much. And I'm glad that I've paid off. Now I got to pay off the keyboard. Keyboard's going to be different. It's a little bit more intimidating for reasons that I think make sense. Ah. Frere Jacques, do you know? I'm thinking Civ 6 is where I'm going to naturally wind up. There are so few games that open fun. No more headache. Peace, love, and microdots. Take care, Sam. Take care, Rachie. I'm not doing anything interesting. I might not even stay live. I love you, Rachel. Please be well. I know, somewhere between 8 and 10 inches. Hey, Jar, what's up, buddy? I'm doing all right, Jar. I'm all right, bud. Yeah, it's all right, pal. Thank you, buddy. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate it. I'm treating today kind of like a day off. I appreciate that, buddy. That's how many times I'm playing Civilization 6, Jar. I shouldn't really be live. I just know there are a few of you who haven't seen me in a while. I'm not doing anything interesting, bud. I'm just sitting here. I did all the interesting things in the first 2 hours of the show. Thank you. I don't even remember whistling. Thanks, guys. Ding dong.